After watching this movie, I'm looking at Dev Patel in a whole new light, and I'm just like, damn, I want to give him my monkey, comma, man. And welcome to my safe haven, everybody. Thank you guys so much for clicking on another video and joining me here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking out one of my videos, let me introduce myself. Hey, how's it going? My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek. It tells you everything that you need to know in the username. And I like to talk about movies, TV shows, video games, comic books. I always say the things I love to talk about has blood, sex, gore, and magic. And of course, I talk about all those things from a black gay perspective. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you think representation matters and that perspective matters, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, help me continue to grow the channel, become one of my safe Gaveneers, which is what I call my followers. And you can also help out the channel, help it grow by hitting the like button. Not only will it help with this video, getting this video out there, but it will help with the channel overall, getting more eyes on the channel so more eyes can hopefully subscribe to the channel if they like what they see. Now, with that said, guys, I finally got the opportunity to see Monkey Man in the theaters, Dev Patel's directorial debut. It was also produced by Monkey Paw Productions, Jordan Peele's company. And so let's get into it. It's going to be a non-spoiler review for Monkey Man. And the synopsis for Monkey Man is: a young man ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he's beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, he discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. And like I said, this movie was Dev Patel's directorial debut, and it was distributed by Universal Pictures. And I gotta say, like, for a directorial debut, I feel like this is just as strong as like Jordan Peele's directorial debut with Get Out, which also makes sense of probably why Jordan Peele decided to take this movie on. And interestingly enough, I believe this movie was originally supposed to come out on Netflix, but for whatever reason, Netflix got scared and gave the movie up, and so Universal snatched it and it went into theaters. And honestly, I feel like that was better for the movie because now it has more ability to get more eyes on it, and I think it's been doing pretty well in the theaters. So good on Universal for snatching this movie up. I don't know what Netflix was afraid of, but this movie was incredible. I absolutely love this movie. And funny enough, like, a lot of people were comparing this movie. They're basically calling it the Indian John Wick. And yeah, I can understand why they're saying that, but at the same time, I feel like it's disrespectful to this movie because A, it's not like John Wick created the action franchise and everything like that, especially with this being a pure revenge movie. Revenge movies have existed long before John Wick. And granted, I get John Wick is like one of the more or most successful ones recently, but this is more than just John Wick. And then also when you think of John Wick, like a lot of the action in John Wick is like the gunplay. They call it like gun fu, especially like John Wick is like constantly on God mode with the like headshots and everything like that. But there wasn't really a lot of gunplay in this movie. It was mostly hand-to-hand fighting. I would say it's more in line, not as great in choreography and fighting and things like that, like The Raid. But honestly, I would think of this as more like The Raid, especially because The Raid, Iko Uwais, I believe he's Filipino, so you're getting more South Asian representation in an action movie. And especially with a mainstream American movie, it's not something, the level of representation in this movie, that's not something that we've seen. Now, granted, I know Keanu Reeves is half Asian, but at the same time, we still never really got a mainstream action movie in America with like pure South Asian representation, also directed by a South Asian man, Dev Patel, which is also the reason he wanted to direct and create this movie in the first place. And the thing that makes this movie different than a lot of revenge movies, because when you think about revenge movies, the plot is very simple. Somebody did somebody wrong, and then that person's going after them, going revenge, they're going ham, it's like a video game. They're going from this point to this point, and the levels and the the craziness just goes and expands, and like you're just like, how is this person gonna survive? But the thing that makes this different than a lot of revenge plots, even something like John Wick, is again going back to the representation, going to the cultural aspects of this movie and really getting to see Indian culture and Indian characters, which is something that even myself has never really been exposed to, especially in mainstream movies. And something I say all the time when it comes to representation, and then also why I even put myself out there as a movie reviewer and things like that, is because representation matters. If you can see it, then you can believe it. If you can see it, then you can dream it. You got to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. And a lot of times as actors, creatives, and everything like that, we don't really get to see ourselves represented in these movies. Like I always say, like, as a black gay comic geek, it's very, like, if I wanted to cosplay as a black gay superhero, doesn't really exist. And so this movie is giving young Indian actors an opportunity to see themselves in an action franchise and it not be a quote unquote stereotype like we see with a lot of portrayals of, you know, Asian or brown Indian representation. And then not only just that, but the movie did start off a little bit slow, but that's to get yourself involved and invested in this world. But once the drama and the high octane action stuff starts, you're just like going and you're on a roller coaster dropping down from like to the end of the movie. Like it never stops. And there are a lot of moments in this movie where it's like a lot of shaky cam. And me personally, I'm not a fan of the shaky cam, but for this movie, because of everything that was happening, it definitely worked, and it definitely had you feeling like you're on that roller coaster ride way more because of the whole shaky cam aspect. And this was like one of the rare moments where I was like, you know what, I don't mind the shaky cam here, because everything is so chaotic and you're just like, how is this guy gonna survive? How is this guy gonna get out of this? Because it is one man against, not all of India, but it is one man against like a whole army of people. And then not only just that, but I have to applaud Dev Patel because he did something that not a lot of people, writers, directors, will do. But he also, not only was this movie about, you know, a marginalized community in the sense of South Asian representation in a mainstream movie, but then he also took time and care to add the marginalized of the marginalized, because we got to see some really good trans representation in this movie. Indian trans representation at that. And they played a huge role in this movie. And that actually surprised me. I was just like, wait, what? Because how often do we get that in these movies? And it was really good trans representation, because they weren't just prostitutes or sex workers or the typical standard stereotypical thing that you see when it comes to trans representation. It's like, no. These characters had heart and they were an integral part in the story, and we got to see them. With it being an action movie, we got to see some badass trans moments in this movie, and I was like, thank you, Dev Patel, because he didn't have to do that, and a lot of people don't do that. And I'm thinking maybe that's why Netflix didn't decide to go forward with the movie, because we got to see some badass Indian trans characters. But then I'm like, but Netflix has a lot of queer shows on their platform, so I don't know why they dropped this movie. But I absolutely love this movie, and I hope it makes all the money, and I hope it opens the door for not only Dev Patel to expand and grow his career both as an actor and as a director to get more things, but also I hope it opens the door for more South Asian representation, for more black and brown folk being in action movies, for more trans people and queer people being in action movies. Because I'm like, where is my queer, you know, action movie? Or, you know, I mentioned I wanted to see a trans, you know, coffee, like Pamela Greer type of movie where, you know, so I'm like, give me more representation matters, make it blacker, make it gayer. So I absolutely love Monkey Man. If you haven't seen Monkey Man, I definitely recommend you check it out. I believe it's actually coming out on streaming in a couple of weeks, because it's, you know, it was originally meant for streaming. So definitely check it out. I say check it out in theaters. So with that said, that's pretty much all I have to say. I enjoyed Monkey Man, but the question is, did you see Monkey Man? Did you enjoy Monkey Man? What did you think about Monkey Man? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you can, hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. Guys, if you didn't see my live X-Men 97 review last week, I am going live again on Wednesday, April 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Fantastic Frankie. And I will be having a very special guest on that episode, JP Carliak, who is the voice of Morph on X-Men 97. He will be joining me to talk about episode 6 and his experience with X-Men 97 and everything like that. So join me. Again, hit that bell notification button Wednesday, April 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if this is one of your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. Tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.